All right, here we go. Come on in and tell me where you're from. All right, you guys, welcome back to your girl Sheena Speaks. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and notification bell for when I'm coming back live. Hello, everyone in the chat. I hope everyone had a good Mother's Day. And if you lost your mother and you didn't celebrate Mother's Day, I hope everyone is doing well. I see Integrity. I see Gail. I see Robin. I see ATM, Integrity, Wife is the last name. I hate brutalizing your names, you guys. I truly do. Welcome back, everybody. It is so good to be back. I took a little break off of YouTube for a minute and got my mind right and made sure everything was fine. So I hope you guys are doing well. If you're one of my subscribers and you have hard of hearing, the closed caption will come on 2 days from now. I've been looking into the closed captures to see when the closed capture will come on for my hard of hearing subscribers. And if it's too loud to some of you guys, please turn down the volume because I have adjusted my volume system where it's a little high and it's a little low for I'm trying to make it good for everybody, okay? Hello, paparazzi. Hello, K433PS. Welcome to the team, you guys. All right. So we're doing something different today. I want a couple of you guys to hit the panel with me, and I want to discuss what's going on in the Summer Wells community. I want to share the link. I see Integrity's in here. If any of my mods or subscribers would like to hit the link, I'm finna drop the link. We're going to make sure that it's a peaceful environment, you guys, where we can discuss this case. I've been filled in on what's going on. Even though I haven't been on YouTube, I am filled in on what's going on. So when I drop the link, I was going to see if Integrity could come on because I want to have a good conversation with it's an open, if you can see the title, it says open discussion. So I'm going to drop the link in the chat, and I want to discuss parenting. I want to discuss the whole Summer Wells thing. Hello, Annie B. Welcome back to the channel, you guys. Welcome. Yes. So integrity, I got the link in here. And I just want us to have a conversation um, surrounding the Summer Wells case. If you guys remember when I did that Don interview, that was a very deep discussion that we were having when it comes down to the mental abuse and the neglect for the boys and what they have to do to grow up and have to deal with this in their future. So with that being said, I dropped the link. And if you guys want to come on in, what did you say? Let me grab my, okay, come in. Thank you. Yes, you got a ranch, sweetie. Yes, while I'm waiting for a couple people to hit the link, I will tell you, hi, Tinfoil. I am doing good. I'm doing good. I've got a lot of people ask me how I was doing, and I am doing great, you guys. I'm not going to let anybody run me off, okay? I got tough skin. Believe it or not, I have tough skin. So ain't nobody going to run us off. Like I said before, we're a small community over here, and we just want to know the truth about Summer and the facts in this case. When it comes to drama, we don't want that. When it comes to bringing other bloggers' names in here, please keep their names out of the chat if you don't mind, because that's how stuff gets started, and they've been tagging my last video. So we're just going to make sure we keep their names out of this chat, and we're going to focus on Summer and her brothers. She said, honey, thick skin and the full army. You're right. I got God on my side first and foremost. And I do want you guys to know that March is Mental Health Awareness Month. Okay, so it took me a long time to realize that there was something wrong with me, and I do study Mental Health Awareness Month. I advocate for it to the fullest when it comes down to speaking about mental health awareness. I want people to know that it is real. When it comes down to Summerwell and her parents, these people are sick, okay? A lot of people is waiting for Candus to come on out. She's, from my understanding, it's March. It started March the 1st. No worries, you got it. You can, we use initials. Yes, you can use initials. You can discuss what you want to discuss. But when it comes down to bringing their names in the chat, we're going to do our best not to bring their names over here. I mean, it's a hot mess. I've seen it. I watched it. I know what's going on when it comes down to, Ernie feeding the dogs and Jody Sue's call and Jody Sue's son. I know pretty much all about that. So I want you guys to know that I am aware of what's going on surrounding this case. Even though I'm not on YouTube, I pay attention to what's going on. And I do see what's going on, So no Summer, no peace is what I'm saying. It's not going to stop. Miss Justice, from my understanding, you can Google it up right now. March is Mental Health Awareness Month. Hey to everyone, my hands are in chicken, so I'm just listening. Okay, you can listen. I will drop the link again, and anybody is more than welcome to hit the panel. Well, I want to really sort of dive into that conversation we were having about Don Wells when it comes down to the lies and the different things that he was saying on that interview. I don't know if you guys got a chance to watch the rest of that interview that was on the behavior panel with Don. Put a 1 in the chat if you have seen the whole interview on the behavior panel with Don. That's right, drama free. No drama here. There's so many different YouTubers. Okay, Papa, I see the ones. I see the ones. Good. Okay. There's some things that I want to break down, even though we watched the beginning of that and we went over that interview. There's some ending part that I want us to finish when digging into Don. What we do over here is we digging into the behaviors. We're going to make sure we keep justice out here. we're going to make sure we keep Summer's name out here in a positive outlook. Sometimes it's hard to go on other people's channels where there's so much drama, so much negativity when you're focused on one thing and one thing only. What happened to Summer? Justice for the brothers. Those boys have to endure a lot growing up that when they get older. One, and they blocked me in the first 15 minutes. You know what? Yes, I was actually in that interview when they did that interview, and it was very interesting, to be honest with you. It was like, okay, they really digging into some things when it comes down to Don. So I was like, okay, I really want to get into this behavior pattern. A lot of these people were sick. A lot of these people have, grew up with a lot of mental health aware, a lot of mental health problems. I don't know if you guys been following the Casey White and that situation, but unfortunately that lady took her life, and that was a hard story. Looking into that story, hold on, I have somebody on the link. Integrity.
Hello.
Well, hello, beautiful.
Hello, equally beautiful. Hi, everyone. Hello, our beautiful community. I hope everyone is well tonight.
Yes. So we're just going to I really want to finish off our discussion that we were having, and it got really interrupted and just sidetracked and out balanced.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
I want to dig back into that because did you know this month is Mental Health Awareness Month?
Yes, I did.
Okay. So I want to express to the audience real quick what mental health awareness is. They did not start the mental health awareness until a couple of years ago, and they put it out in the communities that they are aware that mental health is affecting communities around this world. It does not matter the background. It does not matter the culture. Mental health goes a long way. It comes from generational patterns, generational trauma, anything that's passed on from generations. So when mental health come up, you're going to hear me speak about mental health a lot this month. I want to make sure that people know it's okay to speak up when you're in pain. It's okay when your mind ain't thinking right and you feel unstable. It's okay to know that you're okay. So with this subject, even though we're touching Don and Candus, we're going to make sure that we bring out the information about mental health awareness too for you guys. So Integrity, how was your weekend?
I had a wonderful weekend. Thank you so much. It was beautiful and sunny, and I spent, all of Sunday with my mother, with my son, and we had a wonderful time going from garden store to garden store, just collecting flowers.
Okay. There they go, bumping me out. I'm back. These people
Hi.
they don't really like your friend out here on YouTube for some reason.
Just so people can get a here. I'm not afraid about sharing my
Beautiful.
This is me in my office. I'm sorry, I wasn't really planning on being on, but that's okay. So you can put a face to the name. I actually do a lot of talking here in my own community as an advocate for special needs children. So this is me. Hello, guys.
Can you just go ahead and tell us a little bit background about you?
About me?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, as I've mentioned before, I know that we have a lot of survivors here in our community, and I too am a survivor. I haven't really spoken yet about my past. I've spoken a bit about my journey, and as I progress, mental health has touched my life in so many ways. That part also, I do have a child that has multiple diagnoses, and they all touch on mental health. And I'm an advocate here in my own community for our families with loved ones with special needs, and I'm also an advocate for the children in general. So that's what originally attracted me to the the missing children part of the YouTube community, was that I had a heart for the children, for the missing, for the vulnerable, and I want to know about ways that I could help um, make this better in my own community and what other people were doing in their communities to make it better.
Yes. Yes, yes. And that's pretty much where I'm at with the advocating for this for because like I said before, I don't really do missing children's cases. I focus on generational curses, but little Summer touched my heart, and she touched a lot of people's heart in this world. And believe it or not, I have subscribers all around this world that Summer has brought them to this case, and it's a beautiful thing. And we're going to continue to push out the awareness about her. So when you say you work with the mental health disabled and things like that, let's focus a little bit on the brothers. Okay, since Summer's missing and the boys right now is still, a lot. Well, I don't really want to say Summer's passed away. I really want to think she's still with us in the
Right.
back of my head. How do you feel about that, Integrity? Do you think she's still with us?
I think that I'm a numbers person.
Hmm.
My background is in finance. I'm also a teacher, accredited teacher here in Canada. And if I was a numbers person, I would unfortunately have to say that I'm losing hope. I always have hope that, maybe there could, I hate losing hope. I always like to keep a glimmer of hope that there is a situation beyond my understanding that might be taking place. That being said, she does have definitely some, siblings that are currently being cared for outside of the care of their parents. And of course, my hopes go towards them in their continued healing from the loss of their sister and the loss of their core family. It must have been an absolute traumatic shock for them to have to both lose a sibling and at the same time be removed from their family home. So my heart goes out to the boys.
Yes, because can you imagine losing the sister while they was still there and then getting taken out of their home, even though the home is unfit? They love their parents. And I wanted a lot of people to understand that when you're abused, it's almost like an abusive relationship. When you're
Yeah.
getting abused, you're attracted, well, especially with a child, that's their parents. They're going to always love their parents, regardless of how they feel towards their parents, which we don't know how these boys feel towards their parents. But it's just sort of sad when you think about, for example, what's her name? Casey Smith. Do our Susan Smith. Do you remember the Susan Smith story?
It rings a bell to me. If you could please refresh me on the backdrop.
She had two little sons that she that is deceased. She got rid of. She
Yeah,
drowned the
yeah,
children.
that's right. That's right. Yes, yes,
And it was for the love of man. And why I'm bringing up Susan is because it compares in a way, like she did get rid of her children, and it was for a man. She wanted to make sure that the children, she kept her man. She got rid of him.
right.
And it's sort of in the same aspect as what Candus did to Summer. And I'm going to stand strong by this, you guys. I believe Candus had a big part in it. I truly do. I know that her and Don probably did it together when it comes down to like disposing of the little body if she is gone. I know that they did it together from what we've heard. Um, Candace called Don. Don came. I don't think we will ever know the real story about Little Summer. In the back of my head, I wish we would, but I know that we're going to always be puzzled about it, but we're going to always project. We just want justice for her. So when it, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Oh, I didn't say anything. I was just listening to you. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, like, for example, people, let me dig into this now. I'm finna dig into this. Okay. So, we all been watching this case, right? 11 months, almost 11 months in a couple days.
Hmm.
Everybody's following channels. Everybody's minds is getting crazy. Everybody is wanting some kind of justice for this baby girl. We don't understand why these parents ain't locked up, right? But on the other hand, you have to look at it in a legal aspect. They're not going to move until they have the right evidence. They got a strong case that is going to stick. And right now they don't have the right evidence for some, for summer situation. Yes, they have evidence for the neglect and the abuse from the boys, but they don't have correct evidence to go ahead and put them handcuffs on Candus and go ahead and indict Don for it. I believe in my mind that they're working on it. In the back of my head, I just hope that TBI is really doing something. But then again, it might be a higher power. And when I say a higher power, this might be something we might not never understand. And this is very spiritual when it comes down to this. I can't really say the word on here, but when it comes down to mind control and mind patterns and what they're doing on the media to show us what they want us to see on the media, it has a lot to do with that too. Why is they letting Candace still display herself on these social medias when these boys are neglected in a foster home? But then someone else brought it to me that Tennessee laws is very strict about neglect. So why ain't she arrested for the neglect part? What do you think about the neglect part?
It first of all, and speaking about the children, children don't know. Children that come from an environment of abuse or neglect, or an adult looking in, they don't know what they're in. They don't know that they're in a less than optimal situation. They don't know anything except for what they've been brought up in, and they are very young, especially younger children between the ages of 1 and 5, and it seems to decrease as they get older, are very um, emotionally bonded to their parents as a form of protection and providing. And so, whatever they've been provided, that's all they've known. And the child doesn't know that they are supposed to have proper dental care, supposed to see a doctor, supposed to be, have access to a well balanced diet, supposed to have, any kind of mental health issues addressed if there is any. Like, I sometimes, when I have seen cases like this, I it gives me a moment of pause because I think about our special needs kids who are even more vulnerable, and if they are placed in the same environment as a normative child, not only do they suffer from all those things, but they also receive no medical attention for their underlying health concerns, which is incredibly distressing for me to think about, when as I've gone through my own community and seen, where there are gaps in the system. When it comes to the legal system, I can only speak from the Canadian system here, but I agree with Shinna that the law there in the United States appears to be very cautious when addressing or laying charges because they want to make sure that the first time through is the last time through. I believe that there is a clause in the law where you can't try the same case twice. There's something about that. I'm sorry, I definitely not knowledgeable about that enough. I'm sure there might be someone in the panel that or in the community that could speak more intelligently to that. But that would be one of the reasons why they haven't dropped any charges yet. They're waiting for a strong case.
Well,
Um,
paparazzi, he said they have no standards to compare the abuse situation to.
that's right.
Exactly. So with the abuse evidence and everything out there, paparazzi, and I would love for you to hit the link, Papa. With the abuse out there, focus on Jody Sue and her son is the number one suspect. Okay.
Yeah.
We're having a very good conversation, and here come Wolf. So Jody Sue and her son is the number one suspect. Double jeopardy. I'm reading the chat, and actually, we have somebody by the name of Candus Bly in the back chat that had left a couple of messages in the back, but I pretty much got rid of those messages.
Mhm.
Did you see those, Integrity?
I did. I chose to ignore them because we were talking to something really important, and I'm not really paying much attention to it.
So, me personally, I got accused of lying about the last live that we had, as it was just, I just made believe and said someone was attacking me.
Right.
And it's sad that racist is out here. That's why I stepped away from this case a little bit. And I didn't step away from my community or my channel. But for the last 5 days, I've really had some me time. And
Good.
to see people still hopping in the link and doing that, it's like, okay, they're going to do that regardless. I can understand that I'm making an impact. I'm doing something different. I'm bringing out facts. I am speaking on the facts in this case. I'm not doing the drama. So a lot of people might be intimidated by that, and that's okay. And like I said in one of my videos, I'm not here to compete with any other blogger that's been blogging about summer for 10 months. I've been following it as long as you guys have. And I've actually followed a lot of the bloggers' channels looking into the information about summer. My whole focus is how are we going to dissect this and bring out facts about this and give the community understanding of how sick it is and how sick these people are. And they're not the only ones. It could be Johnny next door that is got his daughter locked up in the basement. You know what I'm saying? Or anybody, anything could be happening where no one is protecting these children out here from abuse.
Right.
I didn't get it. I didn't get protected. And even though my parents, they loved me and I still love them, I didn't get protected. So how can we get this out here that it's real, that our children are suffering, that they're after our children? Look how this baby girl just came up missing, just vanished. I have a not an understanding of that, but I know that we live in a wicked world. So again, I'm addressing the bloggers. I salute them because they go through a lot being a blogger and trying to, stay in the storyline and follow the storyline. And it's not that easy. But me personally, I will step back and watch and observe and get what I need to get the information before I just come on this platform and just let out blibberish stuff to you guys.
Yeah.
And that's how my channel's going to be. It's always been that way. I'm going to keep it that way. I'm sorry if you don't like me, you don't have to be here. If you don't like African American people, you don't have to be here. I don't have a racist bone in my body. I love everybody.
Yeah.
I come in peace. And when I say I come in peace, that's to everybody. A lot of people don't like that when you come in peace or you have a happy spirit. It took me a while to get to this point in my life to say, there's no weapon formed against me that's going to prosper.
That's
It
right.
doesn't matter what they say about me. I'm not perfect. I'm not holier than thou. It's just one God. It's just one God. Everybody have a creator. So when it comes down to a creator, God created these children too. And they need people like us to speak out about it, but not fight and be just ignorant about it. Just ignorant about it. So people say, okay, well, your channel don't have that many viewers in there in the chat. I like it that way.
Yeah.
It's a
You're not,
people. Go
you
ahead.
don't
I'm
attract
sorry.
any, you don't attract any drama, Shinna, because, well, at least, not ones that, if you stay in the realm of fact, which you do, I believe that you stay within the realm of fact. You just bring the facts forward and you let people um, know about the facts. My own mandate is to bring awareness and to find ways that I can help my own community with these issues, and using these platforms to be able to have a brainstorm with the community members on ways that we as a community can improve the situation, which I believe the first step to any of this is communicating, is putting it out there, is
Hold
talking
on,
about
hold
it.
on.
Yeah.
There was a Jody Sue in my background. Hey, to be honest with you guys, if you're hitting this link, I'm not letting anybody else on unless you're a part of this channel. I see the flourish in other people's channels. I see how y'all bomb people's links. I see how y'all try to interrupt the conversation. There's no reason for a Jody Sue to even be on here because I don't even speak on Jody Sue. You guys don't like to hear the realness when it comes to facts, when it comes to sickness. And hey, you guys, I'm gonna be honest. Following this case could have a bunch of people going crazy too, because they're following the drama, they're following the storyline instead of them focusing on what's
Yeah.
really going on with this baby.
Yeah.
No drama. Sounds like she has integrity. Yes, integrity is very sweet.
Thank you.
Shanaki. I
Thank you.
love, you know what? It's a be like we are a small community over here and it's growing unbelievable, and it's good people in this community. And I got a little sidetracked with these people, but I don't know why they come on your channel and do that. If you don't like the host of the channel, or you don't like, if you think I'm talking too loud, or you think I'm laughing, why are you here? Because I'm a be me. This is my channel. And there is other people that is willing to come over here in a peaceful environment. And that's what we want. That's it. I could sit here and go back and forth with people, but I choose not to, you guys. She
Okay.
said, tuning in from New York, always nice. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's very disrespectful. Like, okay, who is Jody Sue? We're going to take you down and you can kiss your, because it's fist to get going like you.
So,
You know what? I'm going to screenshot this, right?
yeah, go right ahead. Yeah.
Someone in your chat said my son did it. Okay, so if this is the real Jody Sue, hit the link. If that's the real Jody Sue, hit the link. Because someone in my chat did bring up your son in this in my community. They're saying that your son might be a suspect, Jody Sue. So what I'm gonna do is take a screenshot of this, and I want you guys to see what these people do in the back chat. We're gonna call out these people. Okay? So give me a second. I just screenshot what they're saying. There's people in our back check by the name of Candy Bly and Jody Sue Brown. Is that a real channel? I don't know. But I'm finna call y'all out. Ain't nobody taking my channel down. I ain't going.
Hi, guys. Looks like we've lost her, but she should be right back. Anyways, when it comes to stuff like what we're experiencing in the chat, my Nana, she told me one of the most important things I've ever learned, which was what other people think of me is none of my business. And I've lived by that for a good part of my life. My Nana was a really smart lady.
Hmm.
Welcome back.
Well, this is what I'm finna do, you guys. Download this back chat, and I'm glad Integrity's on here for she can see this. So I'm downloading a screenshot of what they do in your back chat, and I want you guys to see what they're doing in my back chat as we speak.
You know, Shinna, when I was growing up, and also especially when I had my son, and I had to resource as a single parent, resource a lot of different organizations and whatnot. They kept coming up with that it takes a village to raise a child, and I believe that that came from um, the origin. I believe it came from where in villages in across from I, I I can't even pinpoint on what side of the sea it would be, but it used to be that the entire community would raise the child. So if someone had a child, the entire community was part of raising that child and making sure that that child grew to their potential. And I think in this day and age, we have children who have lost their place in the community and they've lost their voice. We don't have as much community anchors, which are uh, a trademark for blue zones in the world, is to have community anchors or places where we can gather to work towards a common goal or a common social cause. And I think that that's a very important disconnect from where we came from, which is, you know, a church community or a social community that knew the children, knew the people that lived around, made an effort to know their neighbors, made an effort to know what was going on, to a very isolated um, community where we don't know so much about the people we live next to, and we don't know so much about what's truly going on in our communities. And I really feel strongly that, you know, it's easier to turn and look the other way, and it's easier to go about your day and pretend you didn't see that child get hit, or pretend that you didn't see that homeless person on the street. And I think when we start looking back again, we'll start to get some of our community back, and a healthier community back.
Yes, 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 yes. So what I have on the screen, you guys, is what they're doing in the back chat. Okay. Now, if it is the real Jody Sue, because somebody did bring up her son's name in the chat, Jody Sue is more than welcome to come on the panel. First and foremost, you can't take away something that God has anointed. Okay, I'm gonna say that. Second of y'all, if y'all see this hate, make sure y'all hit the like button, because we're gonna show these people that they can't get rid of me. Okay, this ain't my first rodeo. Okay, I have another channel, and it's gonna be meditation and things like that. So I haven't really boosted it off. But if you guys can see this message, I'm gonna leave it up for a minute. I want y'all to read it with me. It says, we're going to take you down and you can kiss your YouTube goodbye. That's Jody Sue Brown. Jody Sue, if you over here, please hit the link. I need the cowards that wants to join the back chat to hit the link. And if that's the real Candy Bly, please hit the link. Where's Summer, Candy? If that's you. Because I'm telling y'all now, her and Kathy is the main people that's been in my comment sections. They've been in my they've been doing a lot of trolling. So if that is the real Candy Bly, because I know she changed her name, she got another YouTube channel, hit the link, Candy. Candus, where's your baby girl? Where's Summer, Candy? Jody Sue, did your son do it? They said your son was out there running free in the woods. Did your son do it? Jody Sue? That's what I want to know. We want to know where's Summer. Okay? That's what we want to know over here. Okay? Anytime one of these people come over here, we're going to call them out. Okay? It's a different way to fight these people. So if my audience could see what they do in the back chat, this is what they do. Now we're going to go ahead and take that off and continue with our conversation. I'm letting y'all know right now, I'm not going nowhere until Candus is locked up. And if she's not locked up, people thinking she's going to get off, I don't believe she's going to get off. We're going to continue breaking this down. I'm going to continue breaking down these parents. I'm not against nobody else but the parents that neglected those children. That's it. When it comes down to bullying me, you got the right one. I fight back, okay? But I fight back different. So if it is the real Jody Sue, because I know she's seen Wolf up in here talking about her son, and they saying look into Jody Sue. So if we need to look into Jody Sue, then that's what we'll do over here too. Okay? And can you guys put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me? Integrity, are you still here?
I am here. I'm just making sure that I don't say anything when you just have some really important things to say, Shinna, and I'm just trying to really go off of what you're saying.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. You know what? I appreciate your support, Integrity. I do.
You're welcome. Of
I
course.
truly do. And we really want to thank you guys. I could see the ones on the TV, but not on the chat. So I'm going to come back in.
Oops, we just lost her again. She should be back in a couple of minutes, guys, if I'm still streaming.
Why these YouTubers is going crazy
There she is.
and looking old and stuff in the face. These people will drive you nuts. They won't come up there. They cowards. Yeah, they cowards. Kathy, hit the link. Candy, hit the link. Jody Sue, please hit the link. Is your son a suspect, Jody Sue? Hit the link and put it back in there. Challenge me.
Oh, Shinna, I am so jealous of your grass.
Of my who?
Of your beautiful green grass. Oh my gosh.
Oh my God. Oh, it was, you know how hot it was today? It was like 70 degrees out here today. Oh, it was so beautiful.
It's so nice.
She said I can hear both of y'all now. You want me to drop the link? Robin did. Yes, please drop the link. Let's see if Jody Sue or Candy Bly want to come on here. Because Candy, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not going to stop talking about this case. You need to be in jail. You and your mama. My opinion. Your mama's sick too. She passed it down to you. Your mama passed that down. Thank you, Robin. Oh, it's 70 something. Right. Your mama passed it down. You're a sick individual. We want to know where the baby is. Period. Hey, Joe. Hey, Ro. Nobody finna come in here and intimidate me. Where's Summer, Candus? Kathy, where's Summer? You got a bunch of kids out there, Kathy. I don't think you should even have this type of behavior around your children, Kathy. Okay? Break the cycle. Candus, tell us where the baby is. Break the cycle.
Yeah.
Break the cycle.
Yeah.
She said, first of all, it's weird that they are both in your as they don't speak to each other. All of it's weird. That's why I'm letting y'all see it. All of it's weird.
It could just be a troll using their name. So,
So moving forward, I'll go ahead and take it off.
yeah, moving forward.
I don't know if it's a troll because I'm telling you now that Candy, the mama, be over here. I have done several videos of her,
Okay.
and she might not be too happy about it, but I'm not happy about Summer being missing. I'm not happy about what she did to those children. I'm not happy about what was going on top of that hill with those kids. I sit up at night wondering what happened to that baby girl and how those boys gonna act in the future from their parents, from the people that they look up to that's supposed to love them. That's
Is
what
there,
I'm mad about. Go ahead. Go
is
ahead
there
and take.
still is there still a GoFundMe for the boys? I think I heard that there was some kind of fundraiser for the two boys. I'm not sure if that was valid. If someone in the community could please let us know. I would like to see the boys placed into healthy foster care. I don't know if they are going to be, John's going to be getting out within the next 6 months or year, maybe, question mark. So will he also try to access custody of the boys? Who knows?
Now that is a good question. Let's get back on topic. So your question is, chat. We have a question in the chat. Allegedly, Don is supposed to get out in 2 months.
Okay.
Okay, allegedly. He's supposed to get out in 2 months. We're not for sure what's going on with the Utah charges. Okay. And I'm
Okay.
not going to, it's legal. And if the chat could check me, they're more than welcome to come in here and tell me where I'm wrong. But from my understanding, they only went and questioned Don for the Utah charges. So the question you're asked was, if Don gets out in 2 months, do you think he'll go try to get the children? Is that what you were asking me?
Yes.
How long do they have before they lose the boys? You know what? Integrity is up in the air right now. We don't know because I don't think they could get the boys back. From my understanding, they lost parental rights. I
They
don't
lost,
know.
right? Okay. Okay.
I thought she lost the rights too. But if she lost rights to the boys, that means Don lost rights to the boys. So he couldn't get out and get the boys. So
Yeah, I was wondering if they acted separately, if they had like separate rights when it came to the children, because we don't know what's going to happen with that relationship when he gets out.
well, shit. From my understanding, the house is abandoned, and they cleared out the dog. She ain't on top of the hill no more, and
Oh
she
wow.
living she living with her woman. I call Kathy her woman because they acting like a lesbian relationship out here. How they sticking up for each other, and Candace says she loves Kathy, and so they act like they're in some type of lesbian relationship. And even if they is, I have nothing against lesbians, but her mama was a lesbian, so you know maybe Kathy is her new girlfriend. You know, it don't fall far from the tree. Kathy is the one who took her in. That's where she's staying. The mama of Summer is staying at her friend's Kathy's house.
Okay.
Okay, if you remember that picture they had where she was in a hotel and there was a little baby in the bed with Candus. She was grinning and skinning. Let me see if I got this picture. There was a hotel picture with Candus in the picture. She was there with Kathy, and Kathy had her children there, and Candus didn't seem like she was sober when she was sitting there with her and Kathy. And normally birds of the feather flock together. I hope that Kathy's children is in good hands. I hope that nothing happens to Kathy's children. I hope one of them just don't end up gone. Like too many children and people is ending up gone and it's just gone.
Right.
You
The
know?
problem here is that the best case scenario for Candace would be that she was connected to mental health, to a trained therapist in whatever trauma that she has experienced. The chances of that happening without someone being a bridge for her is probably not that great. I would assume she's probably going to attract like-minded friends, which aren't going to be very helpful. So my hope for her would be that, somehow by God's grace that she gets connected to someone so she can start repairing and, fixing what she can in her own life. And then of course, my continued prayer for the children is that they continue to heal and are hopefully placed in healthy environments where they will be able to grow. Yeah, I don't think anybody has to worry about um, people getting now. I've heard some pretty interesting things about some of the states when it comes to how lax they are. Anybody that went in there with child services should have seen that there were obvious signs that they would have seen here in Canada. I can't speak again the um, to the level of comparison between the two, but basic hygiene. Are the kids attending school? Do they appear to have, a they usually go in the fridge. It's the first place they'll go to look at the food of the children. They will also take a look at the safety of the surroundings. So if someone did go in there to do an analysis of that family and came out and thought everything was great, then I would have to say that, and I don't think I would be in a judgmental place by saying that someone definitely was not on the job that day. So
Well, the system then failed a lot of children
the
by
system
not taking them kids up out of the home. From my
and
understanding, social service was called a couple times and never took them kids up out of that unfit home.
yeah,
Candy.
and there was a church involved. So why the church would have seen first place that the children they had access to the family. I don't know if they had access to the home, but my understanding from some of the things I heard that there was a suggestion that the church was trying to help them. But again, we are all so scared to kind of look harder at situations like that for fear that we might have to be the one to step forward and help. And I say that out of, you just don't know what you're stepping in sometimes, right? And you have that right here in your chat over here. You have, you want to be a voice for the children. You want to lift up awareness and lift up the community to call out for the children that are missing. And that is a noble thing. And but when you do anything, there's always three things that you will get that you never expected to happen from that action. And sometimes they're definitely not pleasant.
Yes, because the focus is what them boys got to endure. I pray they never go back to those parents. They lost two set of children.
Yeah.
I believe in people healing themselves and getting better with the mental health, but These people don't want no help. And they say you can't help everybody,
And
and the
I like
focus
to,
is go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah, sorry, Shinna. I'd like to know what the consequences are. So if you have children and you separate from your partner, you're required to pay child support. If you have children and they're taken from you, why does it automatically become the the taxpayer's responsibility to support your child? I think that if you have children, that you're always responsible for them, whether you pay the government for the child that's gone into care in the system, or you're paying the foster family, whatever it is. But my understanding is that Candace has those children plus children from her past, at least two others. That's a lot of kids in the system being taken care of by other people. And what are the responsibilities of her or the people that she had the children with now? Why does it become, the community's issue to raise their children?
She
And
had three other children besides the ones that she had by Don. So all those children, well, besides little Summer, somebody else had to raise them. Somebody else had to take care of her children. So why is it the system's responsibility to take care of your children, and you're continuing to have children after children, and you don't want the children? No, there's not laws against that.
no,
No, there isn't nothing. But when people have platforms like we do, we just push out information that we need to push out when it comes to mental health, when it comes to the awareness of what these parents did to these children. She
right,
has 7 kids by herself alone out of her womb, and she
mhm,
don't got none of them.
right.
You lost your baby, Candace. I have no sympathy for you. Not at all. There's no sympathy. You need to pay for them children. You need to get some kind of GoFundMe. This is what a right parent would do. If your crazy ass was somewhere really looking for your children and the well being of your children, you would be out there getting those donations for therapy for your children, Candy. They need therapy. The boys do. So you just let them go. You let them boys go too.
But you're speaking from a place of health, Shinna, and
Yes.
she's not where you are in the apartment building we talked about, right? She doesn't see it. She doesn't see it the way you do. And when she does come to, hopefully, to that elevation where she will get some help, God willing, she will look back and she'll see it. But she needs to get there first. She needs to get on the second or third level and look down over it a little bit and go, "Oh, okay, I get it now." So that's why I hope that she is somehow placed in the pathway of someone who is a professional who can help her. Then maybe there might be healing for some of her family.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and you know what? You're telling the truth. When you hit rock bottom is when you realize that you need help.
That's right.
But it's still a missing child out here, Integrity. It's
I
still a
know.
missing baby.
And no amount of YouTube drama out there, which I stay away from, but no amount of drama is going to find Summer. I believe that the authorities that are looking over the case are doing everything they can to find Summer. The last time I was watching another channel about some of the devices they're using some pretty high tech devices to now search the underground, to use infrared that they can see below ground now that some of the I guess their wet season has cleared. And my prayer is that they find her like they found Gabby. It doesn't take, it takes, you know, it takes time and money. And time is usually the kicker right here. And I think we will find out. I
I
feel confident we will.
But I believe the chat. Candace will never come out and tell the truth or even admit that she needs help, and that is a part of the mental health awareness. Like a
Yeah,
lot of people refuse to admit that they damn crazy, you
that's right.
know, and it's okay
Yeah,
because you're crazy. There's help out there, but this lady still has a missing child. And integrity, I keep understanding where you're coming from when you're saying she's not on our ground level.
yeah,
I,
she's
s-
not.
I just can't have sympathy for her
I know.
because she's not out here screaming for that baby girl. She's not out here screaming, "Hey guys, I'm sick. I need help."
Yeah,
Like someone said in the chat just now, there was multiple places offered them 5-star resorts to go to a rehab,
right.
and there was so many different people reaching out to these people to help them.
And they just weren't in that place yet where they could accept the help. And I get that. The Candace that people know right now, she is definitely not in a place where there is going to be any kind of healing. As Shinna said, she needs to hit her own rock bottom, whatever that is in her life, when she will turn to someone for real help.
Gail
And
said, "Heck, I'm crazy too, but I can't relate to her at all." Gail, we crazy than mother, but I can't relate to her at
no,
all.
no, I can't either. I can't relate to her. I understand where she is. I can't relate in this part of in some aspects of like I can't speak to how the children were being raised. If the Lord was asking me my standards, they of course they weren't asking me my opinion when they had their children, right? So that's how I'm
Yes.
gonna say it. Is no one asked me when they were having their kids. So to my own standards, I would say absolutely. I would I would say, if I had to rate it, but I also try not to, as you know, and you always have a lot of grace here, Shinna, that you try to be a very unjudgmental platform. And I remember that, I don't ever want to sit in a place of judgment. Karma has a way of coming back around and saying something when it comes to that.
But
Um,
it's not judgment if you're seeing what you see.
if it's the truth, if it
Exactly.
is the truth, yes.
If it's and see, hold on, integrity. I
Yeah,
made that a point to
yeah,
all my viewers. I'm not judging nobody. It's
no,
what I see. It's the actions out of out of these parents that
right,
we're seeing. And I'm very grateful that those boys got removed because that was 3 other men,
yeah,
young men that would have had to grow up in this system and be like their father and be like their mother. The
right,
same addiction patterns that they've been seeing daily,
yeah,
that got passed on to those children.
yeah,
They seen everything.
yeah,
So it's a difference when you're trying to do better. And I, like you said,
yeah.
they don't want help, honey. And it's
No, and right now they don't. I agree. They don't want help right now. I'm not quite sure what their goals are. I think the most beautiful thing I ever heard someone say in this case was that Summer saved her brothers, and I
yes,
believe
she did.
that she did.
She
Summer,
saved a lot of kids. I believe that a
yeah,
lot of things is going to change now that there's a summer law I even signed, there was a petition, but they're trying to get a summer law out here where they bring awareness to the children that's getting neglected, especially in Tennessee. They want to make sure that the system is coming in and protecting these children when they're getting neglected before it gets to the point where they're just gone or something else tragedy happened. So from my understanding, the summer law, I don't know which YouTuber started, I'm not for sure, but they're working on putting out the abuse. in the system. And that's a good thing. We need justice. They need to be accountable of what they did to this baby and her brothers. Like, there's no way in hell they should be left off free for what they did to those boys too. I mean, the boys, bruises everywhere. I got pictures of their teeth and their mouth, and
Yeah,
it's horrible.
it
It-
was. It was. And well done to whoever started that law, because this is exactly what promotes change, is action.
yeah,
Not necessarily action by the people who are the players in the game, but actions by those around that can see it from a healthier point of view, and taking the time to go out into their community and to promote change.
went through hell.
Hmm.
Someone in the chat said the boys went through hell. Yes, they did.
Hmm.
And everybody around them boys failed them.
I felt so badly when I saw the interview with Don and the one boy that was there, and his one son did not look up once. He did not look up once. His face was fixed at the ground, and I
He
just
looked at terrified.
he did. He looked devastated. He looked traumatized. Um, and of course, he would be. He just lost his sister. That was enough to traumatize him. Um, yeah. Uh, my heart goes out to the boys too.
Well, think about it. He had to stand there with his dad on the news and be like, okay, because to be honest, they know what happened this summer. Those boys was there in that home that day,
Yeah.
you know. So they know that their sister, let's just say, is just gone. Let's
Yeah.
just say with the script, because I don't go with the script, but the boys is hearing the script, your sister's just gone. And they had to stay at the home for a while before the people came in and got them.
Yeah.
So they endured all the dad on YouTube at night drinking and talking about summer. They endured all those first couple weeks before they got taken out that home. So they know what's going on with their missing sister that had been a part of their life for 5 years.
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, they did.
The older boy was almost a father figure. He had to do the cleaning. He had to feed his brothers and sisters. When everybody was high and doing the most, the older boy had to be the father and the mother.
Yeah.
So, of course, he's going to have a lot of problems. I agree with you, Chad. The boys are going to have a lot of problems. They failed those children. They witnessed drunk Candus, Don fighting. They witnessed Jose. They witnessed whoever else flopped at the house when they wanted to flop at the house. They witnessed a lot.
Yeah.
They witnessed drugs in front of them.
And they lost a lot of years of child development, while they were busy um, in that scene. They, you lose a lot of time and years to that instead of using it to be children, you know, to being explorative, to be learning, to be, socializing. I'm sure they're going to need some restorative therapy to help them.
Of course they are. But the thing is, will they get it? Is Tennessee going to push that them kids get into some therapy?
It'll
Will
have to
Ten-
be an avocation of the family they're placed with. So I hope that whoever they're placed with advocates for them and make sure that they get the health and mental health help that they need.
well, Gail said, I can be honest and say that I know of 3 young ladies who grew up to be wonderful women despite their homes. Well, you know what? I don't even know who the three women you're talking about, Gail, but I know for sure I could count about five wonderful women in my family that went through something, and we don't have a child that's just gone. We just, we still raised our children, you know, even though we were, now that I look at it, we had trauma in our home. We thought it was normal.
That's right.
This is what we knew. This is what we knew. But when I look back, it was wrong. It was wrong what we seen, and no child should witness some of the things I've seen. That's why I have such a passion when it comes down to bringing this out here about the trauma. And where's little Summer? Like, we're not going to stop that when it comes down to where's Summer. These people are not going to get me out of my character. They need to break some cycles. The scars of childhood trauma remains forever. Yes, it does, Annie. It remains forever. And them boys, like someone, I think it was Integrity or Love Scorpio, the last panel we had.
Yeah.
Somebody had said on the last panel that the boys could end up with a child just gone missing when they get older and not love on their children.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Generational, what they used to call a generational curse, that they still do if you are of a, if you're walking in faith. Um, Now they call them, in the Bible they call it the sins of the father. They used to say the sins of the father are visited on the third and fourth generation, which means that these generational things are passed down. And if you'd be surprised if you were to look up the tree and still have someone who could speak to it, you would find that there are a lot of similarities between it. And I believe it was Ian Van Sant that had spoken to the generational occurrences that happen down the line. And yes, if you don't break the cycle, it will continue down. Now, this also is included in our DNA, in our genes. If we go through something traumatic, the DNA in our bodies, they've done some studies of people that have gone through some traumatic times. I believe one of the studies was done on survivors of the Holocaust. And
Mm.
we found that, there's you can go through even a genetic change where your offspring will be they're changed to be more resilient to certain environmental things that you were exposed to, or your grandparents were exposed to, or great grandparents were exposed to. Those
She
things.
said it's called. Can you see what McKinney said in the chat?
No.
There's a name for it.
Yes. And thank you if she could tell me what it is, because I
Well,
can't
she put
remember.
it in the chat. I just can't pronounce it. So can you look at the screen? I'll highlight it. She said it's called, like Maya Angelou said, when you know better, you do better.
That's right.
Yes,
No better you
I'll
do better.
drop the link. Yes, I'll drop the link for you.
Let me see here. Let's see. Um,
Please come and tell us what you're talking about.
Absolutely. There we go. And
When you want to do better, you know better, and then you do better.
that's right. That's right.
But she doesn't have the people surrounding her, even with poor little Summer being in the home. They didn't have the right surroundings
I
to
love
know.
Maya Angelou.
I,
Gail, well
I do
done.
too.
I love Maya Angelou. I love her teachings. I have listened to every um, show she's ever done.
Yes.
Hi.
Hi, welcome to the channel, sweetheart. I seen you in the chat.
Yes. So it's called epigenetics.
Epic genetics.
Epi Epigenetics.
Epigenetics.
And
Okay,
it's
great.
when methane tags activate and deactivate certain genes.
That's
And
right.
there's actually there's another study of survivors of a famine in Sweden.
Okay.
And the people who were greatly affected by the famine, their grandchildren lived 20 years less than the people who thrived during the famine.
Hmm.
And so trauma actually changes like your brain chemistry. It
Yeah.
can activate certain genes. So a lot of people who have like trauma, besides, could probably have like medical problems,
Yep.
and they're more prone to them because those genes were activated, or I don't want to say activated. I don't even think that's the right word, but
Yes.
there's sort of a breakdown of the system, and
It's
so
a chemical balance
yeah,
Yeah.
kind of. Let's just say that.
in
So
a
when
way.
Yes.
I manifested something like what McKenna's talking about, which is I developed ADHD.
Mm-hmm.
ADHD is not a genetic disease. It is a brain dysfunction, and I was just actually recently diagnosed with it. So
Oh,
I'm just coming to understand. And yes, they have related it directly to trauma,
um,
and it manifests that way. It'll manifest as something like that.
Oh,
Um,
that's interesting. So basically, because I want to repeat it to the audience, you're saying that ADD is not passed down; it's built off of trauma.
the ADHD that I have, I don't know about ADD, which is attention deficit disorder. I have attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, which is
Mm-hmm.
a different diagnosis. But my specific ADHD, they believe, was caused by trauma. They
Mm-hmm.
um,
yeah, that's
Yeah, and
um,
and if you tend to have like problems too. If you have ADHD, you probably also have problems with your gut because your
yes.
gut and your brain are really well connected. Is that similar to what you were going to say, McKenna?
Well, I also have it, but and mine is genetic. But yes, you will
Okay.
have digestive problems. Do you also have allergies and ear infections?
Yes. Yeah.
Um, it's an eczema. You probably have eczema.
Yes, on my upper arms. I'm
Yeah.
working on it with my diet right now. I'm drastically changing my diet to
Uh huh.
address some of these issues. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
did too. I changed my diet. I don't eat as much meat as I used to, and then I'm changing. Like, I detox and I drink a lot of water. So it does have a lot to do with your diet.
Hmm.
It's a big factor when it comes to the brain, your diet, and what you put in your body to
Yes.
make that balance to get to where you need to be. And a lot of people don't understand that. Mine was passed down genetically, and we didn't speak about it until I
Um.
got older to realize that this
So
was. Go ahead.
just well, let me just like I just want to say this. So everybody is genetically, or not a lot, not everybody. Um, it's just it probably exacerbates the ADHD more than it like
Yeah.
more than
I,
like people are probably there's a spectrum of ADHD,
yeah.
Hmm.
and it's how much it affects your life. So trauma probably like made it worse.
That's right.
So
I
do
Hmm.
you see
found
what I'm
that
saying? So
COVID made it worse.
and
Yeah.
also like I read this thing the other day where people always criticize America that oh America has so much ADHD diagnoses, but they're like actually it was probably just because our ancestors were ADD enough to get on the boat and come over.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And so that's probably where it comes from, because there's a theory that the hunters and gatherers were ADHD because you always had to like hunt, gather, and the farmers were the ones who kind of like controlled it because they
Yes.
had to organize and stay in the same place.
Hmm.
They
Do you
had
see
a
what I'm saying?
Yeah, they had a really good Dr. Berg on YouTube, which he does the ketogenic diet, and I was watching one of his informative shows the other day, and he was speaking directly to that. I think it was him about
Mm-hmm.
hunting and gathering, and then another person showed up in the feed, and I listened to them, and they said something really interesting, which was that when we were hunters and gatherers, our brain went through a radical transformation of growth.
Yeah.
Um, and after we became settlers and depended more on, corn, wheat, and the other one I can't remember, that
Grain.
our
Grain.
our brains started to
It
shrink.
was it was corn with
Yeah,
grain.
yeah.
Oh, can I ask you how? Let me just ask you a question. How Irish are you?
Me?
Yeah,
Oh, you think? Oh, I'm actually Skyrish. I'm right down the middle.
you're
I'm
so you're.
I'm half Scottish, half Irish, right down the middle. Yeah.
See, there you go. That
Thank you.
okay. So
You can see that?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
So ADHD. Okay, so my family, like obviously, my name is McKenna. It's a family name that they gave me as a first name. I'm very Irish. I'm like 70%.
Yeah.
Um, and it is rampant through the Irish community. So if you have a lot of Irish genetics, even my son's dad is Irish. Um, and then my son is ADHD. It's genetics. It's just trauma just exacerbates the symptoms and the ability to cope
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
like compensate.
Yeah.
So, but I've been diagnosed for like 15 years. So if you ever want to talk to anybody, let me know.
Absolutely. I would love to that it's funny because I have been to I've been to workshops for that I went to specifically for my son's ADHD, which is also diagnosed. And I
Mm-hmm.
always thought it came from me. I always thought I
No.
gave my son ADHD because I always knew I had it,
Mm-hmm.
but I never addressed it until after COVID when it got
Oh
inflamed,
God. Yeah.
really inflamed during COVID. I got a concussion while I was playing softball, and it just I couldn't focus. I couldn't think. My stomach went crazy. I couldn't digest things properly. It was terrible,
It,
and
did you have
you
to
know,
homeschool?
yeah. Oh my gosh,
It
there's
was.
gonna be a whole other show about what I did during COVID because it was my son had a diagnosis, and we were at home for 3 months with hardly any respite.
It was. It was horrible. Like
It was a hard day.
we cried every day. Like everybody in the house was in tears. Everybody had to go to a separate room.
Yeah,
Mm.
Um, it was, and yeah, and then finally I was like, oh, we don't have to do this, and they were like, no, you don't have to, and so we just stopped. Like one day, I was just like, we're just not homeschooling anymore. You're fine. You're in first grade.
yeah,
You're going to recover from this,
Hmm.
and everything was better. But um, epigenetics is a fascinating thing. Just to move off the ADHD thing, because it's just the two of us, or um but it is there's a podcast episode about it that explained it. It's called I'll email you the link or something
great.
explaining the basics of it, but it basically makes the Human Genome Project look like homework. It's so like fascinating and complex, and like how much like your genes can change.
Yeah,
So
And it can. And I was
yeah.
just, what, let me elaborate. McClenzie, you've been on the panel before, right? Long
Yeah, I
time
did like
ago.
a few months ago, and I think I was talking to somebody about oh, it was about Candus.
Okay. So I remember. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to try to just have like comfortable people on here where we could have this
Oh
discussion.
yeah. And I
But
yeah.
what I was going to say is, I like how we're discussing the different trauma, and that
Hmm.
most definitely is one of my focus. And I really want to put that in one of our segments where we're just breaking it down about that,
yeah,
just talking about that. And I'm going to figure out how to get it into there. I'm not even going to charge people a membership or nothing for that, because I want that to be spoke about. Because Mackenzie, some of the things that you were saying when you were saying that it's passed down and what your son has,
Hmm.
I wanted you to know that when they have two different chemicals together, like
Hmm.
say for example, if you had a different mental health than the father do, right?
Right.
And both of y'all come together, and those genes in your son, That's what makes that chemical of how he was developed. And a lot of people don't speak about that type of stuff when it comes down to the children having ADD and the people wanting to put them all on kind of medicine and stuff. What I suggest to people that have children that's suffering through don't get on the medicine. Learn meditation for your child. Learn how different coping skills. I'm sorry, coping skills for your son, your child, because they'll put you on medication, and the medication is not really doing anything but calming a person down. It's not really helping the chemicals. If you guys
Right.
understand what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
Right.
I would add to that a very ADHD specific diet. There
Yeah.
are foods that you can incorporate into a child's diet that will drastically change an ADHD child's behavior. And I know some people think that that's all, poppycock, but I live it. I know it to be true. And it has to do with feeding the brain what it needs to work over the disruptions that the child's having, which is basically a misfire in the brain. And that's
Mm-hmm.
what it is. So, a lot of people who have this will also have, let me get the proper pronunciation, tinnitus. It's when you have ringing in your ears.
Oh yes, I get that.
Yeah, yeah.
I get that.
That's your brain I've learned is misfiring. So that's why you get the ringing in your ears.
Yeah. So like when we say that Candace don't want no help, I'm gonna tell y'all something, right? It took me all this time to realize I needed to find me and I needed to help myself. I
Yeah,
needed to work on myself.
yeah.
So when I say it took me this long to work on myself, I'm still working on myself. I am a work in progress. And if you see my description, that's what I mean. I'm a work in progress. I am not perfect. I want you guys to come over here and speak about gender. I want you guys to speak about all this type of stuff, because the more that we speak about it, the more other content creators will speak about it in their communities and let it be known that mental health is real. And there is not a problem to speak up on it. You're not a batshit crazy person because your chemicals are not balanced right, or you were born with something in your genes that was just gave to you. It's okay.
Yeah,
I want people to know that.
yeah. It's okay.
Mackenzie, or who did I lose? Is who's still on here?
I'm on.
Integrity?
Yeah, I'm here. I'd like to
Okay.
add to that and just say that it isn't really a point that Candace doesn't want help. Candace doesn't realize in this moment that she needs help. And that's the bottom line. She doesn't even recognize her own mental state in this moment.
And no, it's not okay that the baby's just
No,
gone. No, we're not saying, please get this understanding.
yeah,
We're not saying that her actions is okay.
no,
We want to
absolutely
make
not.
sure Candace I'm not well, so let's just say justice. Let's just say
Right.
justice. Because I don't want it to make it like you said, karma and things that come back to you is real. I'm a strong believer in what you put in this universe will come back to you to triple folds. Okay. So, me digesting this woman, I'm going to continue bringing out the truth about her. It
Yeah.
hurts. It hurts. And oh well, if I'm the one that has to be the one to let her know she's sick, then that's what I'm going to do.
You know,
Everybody has a purpose.
yeah. And you know what I compare this to? It's kind of like when you get behind a car and you're driving the car and you swerve for the squirrel and you hit a person and it kills them. You didn't mean to kill that person. That's considered manslaughter now, right?
Okay, hit the panel, Mackenzie.
So the consequences of your action of missing the squirrel was that you hit a person and they died. Um, this is what it's like for comparison to this. It's and I'm not condoning in any way any kind of thing that happens to children. I'm an advocate for children. I don't believe that anything has a place as an excuse or a valid reason why anything negative or bad should ever happen to a child, I'm just explaining why the rock is a rock, okay? Like
Right.
Candace is what she is because that's why. And does it make it right? No, it does not make that right that there is a missing child. Summer deserved in her life to grow up in a happy, loving, caring environment where she could play and grow and learn and become and have her own family. She deserved her life. She, as her own person, deserved a life, and that is unfortunately what happens when someone gets behind the wheel.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody else gets behind the wheel in your life, and when
Well,
other people
Roxanne,
are driving their car,
yeah, well, Roxanne said in the chat she has a mind of a 15 or 16-year-old. In a way, yes, she does. Her capability of thinking
that's right.
is in a different standard than ours is. Is it an excuse? No.
Wow.
Okay.
Can I bring up something?
Go ahead.
Candace was so I read an interview with her. She gave it very early when Summer went missing. She was born with a heart problem, a pretty serious heart problem, and as an infant. So I sometimes wonder that maybe she was like deprived of oxygen at some point before they could like get her heart working properly, and maybe that's part of her problem.
I heard something about that when they were talking about the father, right? Was when she was younger. Like it was some
Yeah.
sickness she had. But if you look at Grandis, okay,
Mm-hmm.
you could tell right there it ain't all there. It's not all there, and just the actions of what these people are doing and how we're
Oh,
seeing it.
I
It
think
got, go
she
ahead.
I think she comes across as incredibly normal.
Which
Um,
one, the grandma?
Grandma Candace, Candace Hare, yeah, she
You think
doesn't.
so?
Yeah, I've seen a few interviews with her. She seems quiet and she seems withdrawn, but I don't think she is developmentally.
Challenged.
No, and I don't think the dad seems like it. And all their other children are fine. So I think it was just I mean, if one of your children, if there's a heart problem, yeah, that
Well,
kind of seems probable.
Well, when you say Grandis is fine, let me elaborate. I don't, I have to disagree with you, and we all
Hmm.
could disagree to agree. That's why we got
Yeah.
this nice little panel over here. Grandis got rid of her girls. Like, she wasn't a mother figure to her, So, when I'm not saying, okay, let me just be real. Y'all know I'm going to be real.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, she seemed normal. She ain't drugging and doing everything like Candace and Don was doing. That's the normal part that you're seeing. Mentally, you really don't know how Grandis is because she had a pattern of getting rid of her girls. She had 3 girls, left them with the lesbian lover,
Right.
allegedly, you know, and left them, didn't raise them girls. And who's to say what happened to her in her life? If she got
Mhm.
touched or whatnot, what made her become a lesbian. I don't have nothing against lesbians, but me personally, I can see that there's a couple of screws loose in Candace Grandis too.
Hmm.
Yes, I can. And maybe it's her upbringing. Maybe she wasn't taught better. Maybe it ain't a mental thing. Maybe it's her upbringing. Because it don't have to be mental all the time. It could be your upbringing
Hmm.
on what you like. For example, what the boys seen. Their upbringing was horrible. It
Right.
was terrible. So Grandis could have had a bad upbringing, and she passed that down. But as a grandparent, right? I'm gonna ask you this, Mackenzie. You think a normal grandparent would let all that go on to their grandchildren
No, I think that's why she was there.
to protect them?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And okay, so I okay, but In the 90s, when all that went down, there was a totally different attitude towards the LGBTQ community.
Okay.
And she might, don't you agree?
Yes, it was. They
I mean,
were, they were treated like black
Mark,
people. Yes, they had races against them too. Yes.
absolutely. Discrimination laws, just insane. It's still going on.
Hmm.
Who knows what made that decision? And she might have thought she was doing her daughters a favor.
Oh, by giving them up.
Well, she left them with their dad,
Hmm.
who, by all accounts, seemed like very, like, I've never heard that he was mean. And if, there's a lot of people who think, I don't want to shame my daughters, I don't want to embarrass them. And, who knows what happened that she came out as a lesbian. If,
It,
so I don't know. We don't know that whole
I
backstory.
mean, no, we don't on her, and you know what? I might have to dig before we get to talking, because
Okay.
I'm interested. But the segregation was very strong when it came down to the LPT community,
Right.
and
And that is
we
a small rural town. So God only knows, you
no,
know?
we'll never know why she gave up her daughters, and
Yeah.
she knows that. But and maybe Grandis was there to protect them children from Candace, because she
Mm,
knew that they was in harm, so she was there to protect them, and she still felt them too.
Interesting.
right.
She
Well,
still felt them.
I, it's just like, how much can you intervene when it's two against one? If it's Don and Candace against you,
Well, yeah, because they're the parents and you're the grandmother. You can't say nothing. It's their children. But then, and you're right. Like, would a real grandmother go turn her daughter in? That's a good way to look at this. Like,
and
me personally, if
mhm,
my daughter and her man ain't listening to me, and my grandkids is getting neglected, I'm gonna turn my daughter in. She's sick. I mean, that's me personally, because I know that she's sick,
right,
and if she's gonna forgive me and all that, I wouldn't even be worried about my daughter forgiving me. It would be the concern for her well being and the concern for the children. So I
and
just go ahead.
she doesn't have like a lot of resources to, like, say they're gonna come live with me or else, you know.
Yeah, because she lived on their property with them.
Yeah, so that changes a lot of the dynamics too. If I was falling apart, my parents would absolutely come in, and social service wouldn't have to get involved. They would just be like, guess what, this is what's here's the deal. But they also have like the economic power, and this is a huge part of the story, is economics and the people's bank accounts. If you don't and you know what, it happens all the time and we never know about it. People fall apart, and it happens, and somebody can say, this is how it's going to be until you get it together. But she didn't have that.
No.
I mean, if you're just living in a trailer and you're on a fixed social security income or disability or whatever she had, but and also I really do think she fell asleep.
The grandmother.
Yeah.
Healthy
Yeah.
doesn't come with unhealthy.
Go
No.
ahead and Texas. Go ahead and
Oh,
speak.
sorry.
Yeah. So I hope, I hope that Grandis loved her grandbabies. I hope
Mhm.
that she was a source of comfort and a source of love and encouragement from her grandmother, because that's a very important bond. I would think that in relationship to her placement there at the home, and the dynamic that was being at least was being played out on YouTube, that I just had to shut it off. It was a drama triangle, and drama triangles are like a feeding pen for people that are not healthy mentally. People need to they feed off of the drama. You
Mm-hmm.
can't have a triangle without a third person.
Right.
So the rest of the persons in that house were all children. So for it could have been that she held that third place in that family for emotional regulation in the home between three of them, the three adults. Yeah, I would say that as your healthy parents would definitely come in and step in and be like, no, we're going to be there until you stand up straight again. But I don't know if that would be as prevalent coming out of that situation. I could
Mm-hmm.
be wrong though. But I
No,
feel strongly probably wrong because
yeah,
it's
she
root
just
tree fruit. It's root tree fruit. And, if the root is bad, the tree generally it has some issues and the fruit generally has other issues. So,
Okay, so hold on. We got a question.
yeah.
Then why did grandma take off not long after Summer went missing and the boys were still there? So
oh,
basically, they want to know if y'all really think grandma was a good mama. You know me, I disagree
okay.
with these people, but y'all go ahead. I believe Grandis need to be locked up too, but that's my opinion. But go ahead. I'm glad my ladies on the panel with different opinions is on here. That's a
I've thought about
question for
this.
y'all.
I personally had no idea why she disappeared. If that was my child, and this is just my personal thing, I would not rest until my child was in my arms. I would not rest. I would not rest. I would
Well,
not rest. Period. And I don't know why the grandmother removed herself physically from that place when that all happened. I have no idea what would make her not want to be part of the search. I am confused. I would love for somebody to give me some enlightenment on what they think because I can't give it to you.
I think she
Okay,
was.
what about you, McKinley?
I think she was re-traumatized, and this is like a PTSD trigger from when her daughter went missing.
Fair enough.
Okay, well, somebody in the chat says that they believe that the grandmother was not emotionally attached to those children.
Okay, they have tons of pictures on Facebook of her with the kids, and they're all smiling. They're out having fun. She traveled with them. Don't forget, Candace's
I mean,
dad
but
died.
pictures can pay. A picture don't necessarily mean that's how it is in the home.
No, no, it doesn't. But okay, is she? I had a grandmother who wasn't like the most loving, doting one, but
Mhm.
she wasn't a danger to me, or you know.
This is a real good discussion.
Yeah.
I agree with the chat.
Yes,
It's a very good discussion because there is three different women with three different opinions, and
and and I don't feel like I'm like any of us are that firmly planted. Like we're like, yeah, that could be true.
no, and we're going off of our emotions with this. We're going
Yeah.
off of these are not facts. These is our opinions. And I don't want nobody saying we out here putting this out here. No, we're having a really good dialogue when it comes down to this situation. And I'm glad that the chat is enjoying the conversation because there is some things that a lot of people don't realize. Somebody said the grandma knows what happened and she don't want to be there. Okay. So with that being said, a lot of people believe that the grandma should be locked up. Like she let it go on. How can she let her daughter do that to those children? And like you said, Mackenzie, or how do you pronounce your name?
McKenna.
McKenna. Like you said, the grandma had not much control. So if you feel like you have not no control over your daughter and her drunken ass man, that's when you put the control in your hand, grandma, and go say, my daughter needs help. That's what they call adult care when you step in for a sick adult. And they have that where you can step in and ask the authority. I know for sure they have it in the United States. If the person is incapable of taking care of themselves or taking care of other children, you can
Mm-hmm.
go to the courthouse and get what is it? It's a word.
Guardianship.
Yeah,
guardianship.
but you have to have the mask on your face before. Okay, so you're on a plane, the plane's going down. What do they say? The first thing you got to do is put the mask on your own face so that
Face.
you can put the mask on the person next to you or your child or whatnot.
You have
And
to.
I believe this to be so true about mental health is that if I would I would make a grand gesture and no judgment, but a grand gesture that they were all on the same level mentally.
The
If
grandma too.
she's not looking into Candus' situation going, geez, that's unhealthy. Geez, they're not quite getting along well, and I should really step in and protect those kids and make sure that they don't, experience a troubled household and all that.
Right.
They were all in the same tree, right? In
I
that moment.
Yeah, probably. She
Yeah.
probably struggled a lot because she was put into this like dysfunctional situation. Like when because she spent half the year there and half the year in Wisconsin, right?
Okay.
Didn't she?
I really don't know much about Grandis, to be
But
forthright.
but I'm pretty sure like, and this is speculation on my part, and I'm agreeing with you, but it's probably like dysfunction junction when she gets there. Like she's probably like, oh my god,
Hold
you
on,
have to like
guys. Can y'all make sure y'all hit the like button? If you guys see me bump off the stage, someone is reporting our channel. And
Mhm.
so, from my understanding, when you hit the like button, it helps them not be able to report it. Like they could be reporting a channel, like saying it's a bad channel or something bad is going on. So the more likes it is, YouTube won't mess with it. But there is a good question, and I want to answer this question. It was for some families, like all of my extended family growing up, it was much easier for everyone to turn their head and pretend it wasn't happening.
Yeah.
So do you believe that's what Grandis probably did?
I,
probably.
I personally can't conjecture about what she would have done in those moments. What I can say is that make it like it didn't happen is a very prevalent theme in unhealthy family households where you are being bonded to secrecy or being told that, we don't talk about what goes on in our house outside of the house, and it becomes like an unspoken law.
Rule.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and it's a law that children will have, and they live in fear of that law, that if they ever said a word, that some terrible thing would befall them. And I can say that when you start hearing about secrecy in the family, in the household, that's the first red flag that should come up, like dad told me not to talk about it, or mom told me not to talk about it, or, I'm not supposed to talk about it.
Yeah.
Well,
That,
they taught us that too. They taught us to keep whatever in the home, in the
that's right.
home. Like you don't go and tell, they would call it the white people in my family, the system.
Yeah,
You don't go and tell the system what's going on, or you don't tell the school teachers that daddy tied you to the wall last night, or you don't go tell your friend that you just got beat bloody to damn near death. You keep that here in the home.
that's
And that's what we were taught. And it's sad because it's still taught in a lot of communities to this day, not just in black races. A
yeah,
lot of different races believe in not bringing, for their children to leave the stuff in the home. They don't want them to go out and say, hey guys, I need help. My mama just choked me last night and tied me to the bed. Can somebody help me?
right.
Right.
Kids ain't doing that because they're scared to.
Yeah.
And not only scared, they're not scared because of they are scared of two things. They're scared of the authoritative figure, and they're
Hmm.
also scared to death of being removed from their security blanket, which is when you are between the ages of 1 and 5, you are desperately attached to your parents. And if you were to tell, little 5-year-old, 6-year-old, 7-year-old, even, if you tell someone about this, they're going to take you away from me, and they're going to take you away from your home, and you won't have it. That terrifies a child. A child won't
Hmm.
tell anyone no matter what pain they're going through, because they are terrified of being disconnected from their family home. Believe it or not, even in trauma, even though they're being mistreated, they are
Mm,
terrified of that.
that's
It is
like a puppy. Like
And
a puppy getting abused, they still want to be with their parent.
yes, yeah.
Right. Can I just say one thing? Like
Go
my
ahead.
comment about the pictures, I just don't think that Candace Hare was the type of person who would fake Facebook photos. So when she looks genuinely happy around her grandkids and they're having fun, I believe it. I think she really did
Well, there was a
enjoy.
question for you in there. They asked you, well, why would the grandma? Why wasn't the grandma? Let me get to the question. It says, do you see it? It says, then there was a reason why grandma was not allowed to talk to the boys when they were called in to speak with Candace and Don on FaceTime after the boys were removed. If grandma was a good grandma, why couldn't she talk to the boys?
Okay.
Normally, when kids is neglected, they put them into another family member's home.
Hmm.
Well, there
Interesting.
isn't any other family members in the state of Tennessee though. And they keep the custody in the state. And this is also like a big
Mm.
this is something I learned during an estate planning class. Okay, if you have family out of state that you want, you need to have a will put in place to take that those out of state um, family members will take your custody of your children immediately, because the state wants to keep children, because that's where they get they want to keep that money in the state, but then the
Yeah, the state get paid. It's almost like
yep.
a yes. Hmm.
So yeah, but she probably was not a full-time resident of the state of Tennessee. She's probably technically a Wisconsin resident. Do you see what I'm saying?
But if that's the case, she still was a resident in the home on the trailer. If
No,
it was, she
no,
wasn't.
no. You can get a visitor.
Okay.
You have one state of residency, right? And also, if she doesn't have the economic means or the health to take custody of them, then they won't do that. Like if she can barely get up and is on pain medication, which she was, and I'm not judging her. I mean, I've been there too, and those injections are hard. Um, no, I have a bunch of questions about that. So, um, I so as much as like my son's grandma is great and lovely, she wouldn't be given custody of any of her grandkids because she has like a few orthopedic problems and she doesn't have the physical stamina to keep up with them. And don't forget, Donald and Candace are transplants. They are not from Tennessee. They have no blood relations there. So sorry, but I'm just like, oh, I know all about this from state law. So yeah, so they can't. So and I think that that's really blurry. I think there. I have a lot of questions about that, about the whole Ca- Candace Hare having visitation or rights to the boys. Um, I think that they probably set up like a supervised time, and
Mhm.
she didn't like it. But it's only been hearsay that they've ever said she wasn't allowed to speak to the boys.
Right, right. And Real Rock and Robin came up with the question also, why is Grandis not allowed to see her other grandchildren in Wisconsin?
Well,
Um,
because the other sister disowned her.
I see.
There's a third sister who they have a terrible. I don't know what happened there. That's a lot. There's a lot going on in that family too. I mean,
Mhm.
who knows?
Yeah.
So,
Honestly, the hope is to bring awareness to, where is summer, justice for summer,
hmm
um, advocate for the children. If the children don't have a voice, we are required to be the voice of the children and make sure that their voices are heard and that they are brought. As a teacher, I have the responsibility, if I was teaching, which I'm not right now, but if I was teaching and I come across a child that is being obviously um,
Right.
not being attended to for their needs, I can lose my accreditation
In
if I do not report it
mhm.
within a timely manner. And I think that a lot of people are afraid. I would rather risk the wrath of being wrong and having reported something that might be happening than to have to live with the fact that I turned a blind eye and because of that somebody else suffered.
So, do you
Okay.
guys call it mandated reporting like we do here?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. We have it mandated reporters.
Okay. I'm back finally. Okay, so I heard what you guys said, and someone in the audience says um, in a lot of states, grandparents don't have rights over the grandchildren, and then someone else said in New York, you could have some rights if you raised and helped raise the children. Well, I don't know if Grandis was around raising the children. I don't, I'm not for sure. Do you guys know a little bit about how long Grandis was living on top of the hill rent free with Don and Candace?
No,
Mm-hmm.
but it's Tennessee. I did look this up. But if a grandparent has to sue for grandparents' rights, and that goes back to money. And this is a huge thing, is money. If she doesn't have the
Mm-hmm.
money to hire a lawyer, put a deposit, a retainer.
Well, that's if she wanted to. That we're
Well,
saying if the lady even wanted to. We don't even know. Grandis probably don't even want these kids. She didn't want her children's.
well,
You know.
and maybe there's part of her that was like, I can't do it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're always in pain, I mean, 3 boys are exhausting. I mean, that's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot.
So
Yeah.
no matter how much you want to do something, can you do it?
Well, my thing is this. She didn't
Mm-hmm.
even raise her own children. To me, what it sounds like to me is that Grandis was just there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like the two parents was doing what they wanted to do to them children. Grandis was pretty much just going for the ride,
Yeah.
and because I can't see uh even you're saying you think Grandis got it all in the head, which I disagree, but that's okay. Um, why would a saint, like a grandmother with all her right mind,
Mm-hmm.
allow this stuff to go on, allow these different men to be flopping and laying around her granddaughter and her grandson? And okay,
I
say
don't know.
for me example, let me just put it like this, you guys. I know I got issues, right? I just say I got issues. Let's just put it like that. If I seen any of my children neglecting my grandchildren and I got issues, I'm going to report them. And why I'm going to report them is for the children. I said this earlier in the live. It's for the children. So for you to say that you believe Grandis, could have been really involved with the boys, I have to agree with that. She's like, I don't see no love or affection. That's just my point of view about
Mm-hmm.
grandma. Because when it came down to like the interviews, okay, say for example, grandma's interview, she still didn't plea out for Summer. I'm just waiting on some of these people to plea out on the news conference. When I'm watching their interviews, I'm just like waiting on them to plea out, cry out. Even the grandma didn't do that.
Yeah.
What
I
you think about that?
Yeah, I have to agree with you, Shinna. And that maybe it was because, and it was, there was just so much weeding for me to go through when it came to who I was going to decide to watch with this case, and there was just so much noise. But I would have hoped to hear the platform have been used more for the avocation of finding summer. Instead, what I saw was a whole bunch of drama. And I wasn't surprised at the drama. I was more saddened by the drama. And I would love for the platform to have been a place where you said, cry out for your child. If I had a missing child, I would cry out on every platform that would hear me cry.
Exactly. Every time I'm on a
Yes.
platform, every time you can see hear my voice, I'm crying out to the person that took my child.
Mhm.
And I didn't see that in the grandma. I didn't see that I ain't gonna lie, I seen it more in Don concerned about Summer than in Candus. And I'm not a fan of Don. But like someone said, he was training his trophy. And I
Mhm.
believe that. I believe he was getting, little Summer prepared for AS. I truly believe that. But with him building this little trophy, it seemed like he had more concern for Summer than that mama and the grandma did. I don't know. That's my opinion.
It's okay. I'm not like trying to like advocate this hard for like the grandma, but I just feel like someday when this all like if there's ever a trial,
Hmm.
we're all gonna look at this different. Like a lot of things are gonna come out and all this hearsay. They can't go on hearsay. It's gonna be hard evidence, and we're gonna have a totally different perspective on every single one of those people.
That's why
I,
I don't go off of the
there,
drama. I want to know
yeah,
facts of what's coming out.
so, I, yeah, so, and just because I had a grandparent like her, I see it from the other side, and it just
It's gonna break your heart when you find out what Grandis really know, ain't it?
it's. I think she knows something. Let me just go ahead and say that, and I think she is a deeply conflicted person. I think there's a lot going on there, but I don't think she's like I don't think she's directly responsible. I think she knows something, if I had to guess. But
You know what? Now that you put it in that perspective, she might be guilty by association, by
yes.
knowing those kids was getting abused and
Mm-hmm.
didn't do, like, turning a blind eye, like somebody said in the chat, turning a blind eye to it because she couldn't do nothing. She was living there rent free on their property. It was their kids, and some people, you can't tell me what to do with my kids. These is my kids type of people. you
And
know I
and
could give her the benefit of the doubt on that part, but I'm not. What I see, McKinley, is I see a bunch of demonic spirits in these people. I see a lot of evilness, like, and I don't know if they worshiping something or they doing. I don't. I'm watching my
no.
words on here, but it's a very dark aura around this whole thing, and it comes with the grandma too. I mean, she's guilty
Well,
to me,
I've
and
heard
I go
that
ahead.
Don's an absolute monster when he's not on YouTube. Like they're like, oh, he flips it on like a switch. Like sometimes he acts like this total what did they say? Like sometimes he's totally nice. Like like nobody knows the real Don.
Well, nobody really knows the real anyway. But you heard
But
him say he built a brotherhood in jail. Did you hear him say that when he was in jail before? He built a brotherhood with some of the men in jail. And
oh, I think he hides behind Jesus just to find. I think he's the fakest person ever. He's gone from Mormon to Baptist to Seventh Day Adventist. Those are wildly different theologies.
mhm,
He doesn't have a belief system.
no,
I
he's
mean,
playing the God role.
yes. So
Mhm.
I think he's just a. You know how like they say narcissist, like the mask slips.
He's a monster to
Yeah,
me. I see
and
a monster.
who knows what he said to her? He's who knows what he says to any of them.
Integrity, what do you think about the grandma?
What do I think?
With
Um,
what we just was.
yeah, and I haven't really looked into how the grandmother related. I haven't gone all over the pictures and the Facebooks and the postings. I followed a very factual part of the case through your channel. I believe Lord and Arts had one. There were a couple more channels that had some fact sheets where they were bringing up what was exactly the documentation being filed, who filed it, and how things were proceeding. And I believe McKenna's right in that, they are holding a lot of cards right now, and rightfully so. The authorities having any kind of showing their cards would be just a circus. With Grandis, I honestly don't know her. I can't speak to it. I don't know her. Um, I I really don't know. I can't really answer that question, Shinna, with integrity.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay, one more thing then, because someone said, I want to ask you guys, do you feel like Don was really concerned when Summer went missing? A lot of people saying in the chat that he laughed when Summer went missing. Do you think that he was more concerned for
He
Summer than Candace was?
he laughed when
Um,
she got knocked down by that thing. Is the only thing I'm seeing.
That's what they said. He was lying when she laughing when she got knocked down.
yeah, I think that a marker from my perspective on where the parents were at with their child, Summer, was when I was listening to an interview that Dawn and Candace were doing with Molly Golightly, and she basically just stumbled upon the fact that they did not know when Summer's birthday was.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
I don't know about anybody else out there, but we know when we gave birth to our child. We
Mhm.
know we know the
Oh,
hour, we know the day. At least I would feel like that would be a given. And it kind of really struck me to the core when they could not answer, neither of them, when her birthday was.
can I?
And to me, that was a flag of disconnection right there. Like right away, it was like, wow, there's a disconnect going on here. And where there's one flag, I'm sure if we were to drill down on it in a factual way, we would see a lot more of them. But that one marker for me was huge.
Mhm.
Sorry, I knocked down for a table. Can I tell you
Well,
guys a story?
go ahead. Well, hold on.
Um,
I believe their Grandis is evil too, and that's just my opinion. Um, and that's my opinion. Like I said, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I could be stand corrected all the time. I'm not saying I'm the smartest person in the world because I'm not. It's just my gut feeling and what I've been seeing and following, and the aura that I'm getting from this is there wasn't something was wrong with grandma too. Grandma's sick too. And grandma let a lot of things go on. And even if she didn't have control over, she could have stepped in and did something. I just feel like she had a little more power than what we think because from my understanding, grandma was the one trying to keep Candus in order and try to keep in order, keep the house in order and stuff. They said grandma was really the one trying to keep Candus off of stuff.
mhm.
So how can she not step in and tell Candus, hey, if you don't want the boys, give them away, take them to give them to somebody.
Right.
Well, I don't know that she didn't.
Well, maybe she did. Good point.
I mean,
Good night, Roxy.
um,
Roxanne, good night.
and I'm just saying, I'm just keeping an open mind because those kids had two parents who lived on that property for 13 years, rent free. Speaking about rent free, they were given that property,
So they
so
all was living rent free, not just grandma. They all was
yeah,
living rent free.
and they could have fixed it up.
And they didn't put no money in that home
Oh,
for
not
a
a
better living.
dime, right?
And Dom was making money.
Um,
If you look into construction and drywall
drywall.
in the United States, is good money. And he was doing I think he was self-contracting, from my understanding. So he was making a nice amount of money.
And
But we all know where his money was going around. Free,
exactly. So
oh, women, dope.
I think they spent it. And also, well, first, let me just go back to this for just a second before when I the summer before I started high school, they called my house one day and asked how old I was,
Hmm.
and I told them I was like, I'm 14, and they're like, sweetie, your dad put the wrong birthday on all of your on all of my paperwork, and
Well,
he
that
put
can happen. I mean, that can
yeah,
happen.
so I don't know, like it happens, like I think it's weird that Candace didn't know, but it doesn't seem to me that weird that Dawn didn't. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well,
I
I
mean, kind of,
understand where you're coming from, but
yeah. And
you
I'm an only
know,
child.
okay. So that makes a difference too. That makes a
Yes.
big difference. I
So,
have two siblings, so that makes a big difference.
he loved me enough to go down there and fill it all out. He just couldn't remember my actual day or
Well, that
year.
doesn't mean he was a bad parent. Accidents
No,
can happen.
no, that's what I'm just saying. It's like he was a good parent. He's, numbers, whatever. But, and what was the other thing you were just talking about? Don.
Yeah, and just
Oh,
to clarify, that was both of them, by the way. That wasn't just
yeah.
Dawn. That was Dawn and Candace both in the same room. Dawn called out to Candace and said to her, what, hun, what's not hun, but what's Summer's
What's Summer's
birthday?
birthday?
Yeah, and she was like, I don't know. And Molly was like, you guys don't know when the birthday is? And I know that may seem, it could be that they just don't celebrate birthdays in their family, but you
No, they
know,
did. She had
they
birthday
did, right?
parties.
Jeez,
They
honey.
celebrated birthdays.
Oh,
Yeah,
geez.
she had tons of birthday parties,
Hmm.
but they just
Weird.
so I
I
can see where he got confused, but her, that's weird.
Hey, Robin.
I don't know, but
They had pictures. She had birthday parties. They was into
mhm.
birthday parties and stuff. Unfortunately, she didn't have too many. Only 5 or 4. We don't know, but you know, me personally, the apple don't fall too far from the tree
no.
when it comes down to that, grandma.
Yeah, but I just, if there's ever a trial, I'm just gonna be listening with open ears and just wondering, and I think we'll get a whole different perspective. Think about Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. I didn't think I'd be going this hard for Johnny Depp, but the more I hear about this, the more I'm like his biggest advocate.
Me
And
too.
that, so think about how much your perspective changed there.
Well, when they go to court, cause if it is court date, which we gonna all see, cause it has to be. I mean, like even for the neglect, if she lost, okay, say for example, she lost custody, the parent
Hmm. Hmm.
custody, there still got to be charges for neglect. Like they're not just letting that go. But we, the people behind the scenes, we don't know what the county is doing.
No.
Did they ever
Mhm.
tell us why the children were removed from the house?
Oh,
Did they release a report stating why the children were released from the house?
No.
yes, I have. Yes, they did. I have a one of my subscribers sent me a list, and they had a list of all the different neglect. It was
Oh my
like
gosh.
a lack of school, like absence from school. I'll have to get the list again and show you guys. It was
Yeah.
like um hold on, let me see if I could get it.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see that because it's supposed to be
Okay.
sealed. Actually, they have Don and Candace have a gag order.
Well, it was coming out before the gag order. Okay, from my
Yeah.
understanding, it wasn't a gag. This is from my understanding. Okay.
Did that apply to their channels?
Huh. Okay.
Sorry. Sorry.
No, it's
Sorry.
funny.
You're telling the truth, though.
No,
That's
it
why I
was a good.
say. my understanding. She said, hold on, Tinfoil says, sorry, but all that do respect Johnny Depp and Amber Heard is professional actors, and that trial was a force that was acting and saw how bad Amber is at all. Yeah, well, because we might got some Amber lovers and some Johnny Depp lovers in here. Because that's a whole nother rodeo, you guys. I be seeing people fighting for Amber and people fighting for Johnny Depp, and I'm like, you know, that was a crazy thing. Like, because Amber did, poop on his bed and everything.
Yeah.
So I don't know. They had some issues, and they remind me of probably a Don and Candace fighting it up, doping it up. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But this ain't about them. I believe Johnny alone, okay? Because I got some Johnny fans in here. I ain't said nothing bad about Johnny or or Amber, you guys. I just sit back and watch the show. But getting back to our show, you never know what's gonna come out with this. She said they're just richer. Yes, they remind you of a Don and Candace. They fought it up. They whatever shit. Potted it up. Amber ain't innocent. You know. So somebody said, sorry, that whole trial is a wreck, wasting precious legal. And you know what, Robert? You ain't got to be sorry. It seemed like a big shit show to me. I just been watching it. I sometimes laugh at the show. Like, wow, this is really a trial on public TV. Just some of the things that the witnesses are saying and stuff. It's just wow. But again, it's what they want us to watch in the media. You got to remember that too. They put out what they want us to see when there's probably way bigger fish to fry than that stuff,
Oh yeah.
you know.
But it
But
is interesting to see somebody with what narcissism and histrionic personality disorder, what
mhm.
kind of havoc they can wreak.
Well, it goes in both genders. I
Yeah,
Hmm.
want people to understand that it's not just a man; it's women too.
that's
You
Well,
know.
she's the one
right.
who has histrionic personality disorder.
Okay, but we moving on to Don and Candace.
Yeah.
I believe both of them have it.
Yeah, well,
Who knows?
They and another subscriber brought that up to me as to say Don had a little leverage, like he had something over Candace, maybe that knew something about Rose, so he had like a mental control over her. You know, I believe in both ways that it was a dysfunctional home.
Well, let me just ask you a question.
Go ahead.
Why would Dawn pick Candace?
Oh, hold on. She got a copy of the Hold on. Send me the copy of the gag order and I'll post it real quick. K433.
Yeah.
Email it to me real quick and I'll bring it
Oh,
out here. We
I've
got
seen
to
the gag order, but what about the other
Well, once you
list?
brought that up, I had to back up what I was saying because it did come from another channel and you got to filter what you say or what you listen to, but it was explained to me that the different charges, what they was charged with. Now it should be, there was a list of charges: child neglect, child abuse, child endangerment, child, like the lack of it, like they were missing school. It was like a bunch of different charges that they're charged for. Is there a list of the charges?
was this after she went missing?
No,
Mm-hmm.
this is when the boys got taken away. Like this is okay, basically
No, on I
this
did
is
it on
why
the
social service was coming in.
okay.
Okay.
You remember social service was coming in.
Yeah, and Candace, I heard, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but I my understanding was the first time that they approached, they were not allowed entrance. They had to go and get
Correct.
an order
Correct.
to be able to enter the house.
Correct.
Mhm.
Don and Candus wasn't letting them people up in there, so service was trying to come in there and check on the children. So there was a pending case, like this same case, and there was charges already on them. So the
Okay.
charges that I'm reading out is the charges that I heard from another blogger. I have to just put the I don't remember the name, but it was the charges that they were facing for the boys.
And at that time that they did that, Summer was still there, still in the house when they first filed these pending charges, or
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
And then during the process, she disappeared.
Yes. So
Mhm.
okay, so social service was already coming. Remember, they was coming the day after Summer got gone. Social service was already coming. So there was already a list of things they were looking for. They had already came previously, and Candus didn't let them people up in there. Allegedly, Don was at work. Allegedly, Don was in Utah a couple times when they came. Okay, so
Okay.
there was some charges already pending on them, and with the charges already pending on them, it was child neglect, child abuse. It was for all of the children. And Summer just got gone the day before social service came out, because social service, from my understanding, was on their way out the next day. Chat, you could tell me if I'm wrong. Somebody said, remember the boys were in school. Summer was not in school yet. Yes, Summer was not in school yet.
Okay.
And it was Corona and it was summertime. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. It was summertime. Okay. When she got gone, it was summertime. So it wasn't no school time. Ain't no kids in school by there. You
Right.
said, okay. So the charges, okay, let me get to the point of what I'm saying. They were already facing these charges before Summer got gone.
Okay. So that there for me, kind of like to understand. It's interesting to know how this kind of played out.
Thank
In
you, Robin. Hold on. Robin said someone released all the charges, and they're going to try to find it. Yes, there was a list of charges, and I don't think with it being an open case, the list of charges was closed to the public. That should be public records, what they're charged with.
yeah. So
Like House of 100 Carpets, no one can change my mind because I have met their exact kind. You know what, tinfoil? I know exactly grandma. I done met a couple grandmas like grandma. I done met a couple Candaces, a couple Dons before in my life. So I ain't putting nothing past these people. They all guilty to me. That's my opinion, though.
now it's
Now,
interesting. I guess my next question, after knowing that there's a list of charges that were enough to remove the children from the home, why were they not enough for a criminal case? Like, how
good
does it work
question.
in the United States? Like,
We
if they find a child in that situation, how bad does it have to be before?
Somebody go to jail.
That's
Mhm.
right.
Well, if they're not getting in the home, Candace ain't letting the people in the home. They don't have evidence. They need to have evidence that the children was getting neglected. So if Candace ain't letting them in the home,
So
okay, they
what did
have
they
no.
have the list
Okay,
off then?
go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, Shinna, but what did they do? Why did they compile that list off of then? Like, how did they make the list? Were they just outside of the home? Was the list based on what?
It says it. Hold on. Somebody said it makes sense now why Candace was running around all day on June. Yes, it does. On June 15th, she
yeah,
went to be home with CPS was coming.
it,
Okay.
it makes sense why they were running around a lot.
Yeah. Okay. Integrity. I could see you're from a different country, so I have to fill you in.
Yeah, please.
We don't know who these social service probably been involved. Okay. We don't know if the school called. We don't know who called. If it was because a bunch of cops called. Somebody somehow, some way, social service was already coming, and
Hmm.
Summer got gone
Okay.
the day before. Now, how a child got gone in a missing child case, a missing social service case, I don't understand it. But there is a list of charges that they have on all the children, and Summer is included. It wasn't just the boys.
Interesting. Is it when you say the word charges, does that mean that they were still to be proven guilty, or
I think
were they
allegations is
allegations?
probably.
Allegation. Well, they didn't have no proofs. Candace wasn't letting them in the house.
They had no proof. Okay, so they removed the children based on the fact that they had enough credible
Right.
cause to go in and remove the children, and until they could get proof that there was a safe environment. Is that fair to say?
Okay, so listen. You
Yes.
remember the boys was still in the home a couple weeks after Summer got gone. They were
Right.
still in the home.
Yeah.
So the boys didn't get removed right away. So from my understanding, maybe by the time Summer got gone, the people came in there and seen that the house was a mess, and that's when the boys got taken. You
Yeah.
know,
Like I
because
would
that's
really like to know.
it's a small a time frame in between that. If you think about it, it was already open case with social service. They was already investigating Don, right?
Right.
Good night, Gail. Have a good night. I gotta go. I'll watch the rest in the morning. Love you, Gail.
Night,
Thank you for
Gail.
coming. Um, yeah, we're finna get off here pretty soon too. We've been on here a long time. But okay, she said, right, the boys was still there 6 weeks. Okay, so the boys was still in the home a whole month or so later
Oh my God.
after Summer got gone.
Right.
So this is my understanding. Just think about it. So social services coming the next day.
Right.
Summer's gone the day before, which is why ain't they in jail? Like you said, why ain't they in jail? This baby, she should have been the main reason. Hey,
If
wait, social services coming, a baby is gone. Y'all going to jail. Where's this baby? I mean, don't you think?
Yeah, like if they were actual charges, like proven charges enough to remove the children from the home, I would assume they would not remove the children unless the at least they were valid, and that there was cause to have the children removed from the home. I just,
Oh,
yeah.
okay, Tracy said something good. She said she believes the children were removed because they did not follow. Okay, so it sounds like CPS came in, told them, "Hey, clean the house." It allegedly, they told them, "Come on in." They came, seen the boys. Some are missing,
Right.
right? Because if you remember, Don saying he gave the boys away because of the YouTubers, the safety for the boys, which was not true. They got taken away from neglect. He didn't give them kids away. A lot of people saying Don gave the kids to social service. That's not true. There's a charges against these people. It's not sticking where. That's why it's an open case right now. You know. So once these people finally get arrested and get the charges, are they found guilty of the neglect, then it will be open to the public where we could hear what the social service found they did to them boys in Summer.
That
So
would be
the,
interesting. Yeah.
so they came in, they came on in there, they seen the place was disgusting, hanging on a couple woods, not doing, when they seen that, they didn't end up cleaning up the place, and that's how the boys got taken, allegedly.
Allegedly. I'd love to see that list. I'd like to see what they had on the formal list. Just because, once they got the boys out of the house, then logic would say that they would have had time with the boys, been able to assess their health and see where they were at nutritionally, see where they were at mentally, maybe in a safe spot, expose the boys to children's counselors and see where they were at mental health wise. Yeah, and of course, the pending question is, how bad does it have to be before,
Somebody go to jail.
yeah, parents are brought into question as to why it was that way. I don't know. I don't know that working too well.
Okay, well, someone in the chat said they were given a time frame from for home repair to clean up their house, and either one of them didn't get the time frame. And then someone else says it was a huge list of charges
Okay.
against all the children. So Summer, allegedly, that's why they're saying Summer got gone, because she allegedly had SA happen to her and they're hiding it. That's one of the theories.
Okay.
Because she got gone the day before social service was coming. Like she just got gone.
Yeah. No trace.
She said charges are not handed over. No, there's a list. Yes, there is a list. I've seen the list. I don't know which blogger it was. It was several months ago, but the list was going out when Summer was gone. These people were already facing charges. Well, like you said, they were under investigation. Maybe several people had called, or maybe the boys was missing school, and because I know in Colorado, if the children ain't attending school, CPS come and look at the home and say, hey, what's going on in the home?
Right.
So CPS probably took the boys away to ensure they didn't get gone to Pat. Probably so. Okay, sorry about that.
We have those too.
Girl, no, guys, I'm in a small town.
Me
so
too.
Everything echoes.
Oh, I know. And I'm right on the causeway. I'm right on the main road where the ambulances and fire trucks will take to any emergency, and I hear them all day long. All day long.
And then the motorcycles. It's just super loud. It's because it's so quiet here. So and it's so peaceful. You know what? We're gonna have to look into. Let's just go back and look into. And I hate to say what I'm gonna look into because one of the bigger bloggers will snatch it up from me and do it. But we'll still do it on our channel. We're gonna look into when CPS was and I'll come live tomorrow. And if anybody have information about when CPS was coming, or if you want to bring the list and share the list of the charges, or if you know any information about when CPS was coming,
Yeah.
we're going to do a live about that tomorrow, and it's going to be somewhere in the nature of how did this CPS get involved in the wells? Because this is a good discussion to figure out why was they coming, and how long was they getting investigated for child neglect? Like, if this is the case, the system really failed Summer.
Yeah.
Like, if these people been getting investigated for years and that baby got gone under the care of the system,
that's right.
Something ain't right. This is a good point. Now you got my detective eye on. I'm going to look into this.
I love that idea as well, Shinna, because we can't change any of the players in this unfortunate, terrible event. But what we can do is question the safeguards that we as a community have placed in order to protect our children. So when there are situations like this that there is someone who is advocating for the children, and then what happened, where was the breakdown? And I've said before that when there is this terrible breakdown in the system, there should always be a postmortem. There should always be a going back to say, okay, why did it happen? And what can we do in the future to prevent this from happening again?
Okay. Yeah, that's going to be a good idea.
Yeah.
I'm going to break it down. We break it down over here in a different point of view. Like, we're looking at the mental health. And if the people thinks that we're going hard, Candus and Don, no way. You know, I would be a terrible juror on this, because they're guilty to me. They're guilty for the neglect. They're guilty for the charges that I've seen. And I did it on one of my videos. Now I'm going to have to look through my videos and look at the charges. But it wasn't on court papers. So I really don't want to be like it's legit, the charges. It was something that someone shared with me. But they were already facing charges
Right.
before Summer got gone.
Right.
So if any of you guys catch the end of this live, we're going to look into, did the system fail Summer and the boys? How long was the system looking into this family?
Let's see. Yeah, exactly. And not only that, but look at the different entryways that the kids were in that they got missed. They were in school. The boys were, to some extent.
No, they wasn't.
The boys never went to school.
Well, they went to school, but with the sea going on, the pandemic, whatever,
Yeah.
nobody was in school at the time. They probably was supposed to be getting homeschooled and wasn't, turning in the paperwork or whatnot. It just probably was neglect all the way around. I don't want to say really what was the charges until I know. But
Right.
it is a list of charges that both of them was facing. And I believe that Grandis should have been a part of that list too, because she was on the property as a grandmother. That's how I feel. And everybody thinks different. That's why I love to have an open discussion with people with different minds and different opinions. You're not going to get beat up over here. If you see how all three of us pretty much have a different aspect on this. And it wasn't no fighting. I didn't tell them they were wrong on how they feel. They didn't tell me I was wrong on how I feel. This is a good discussion. And we're going to have more of that. We're going to do more of that. So we're going to look into, I'm going to go ahead and end this. Ladies, is there something you have to say? Because now I got homework to do. I want to find out when was social service coming in.
I'm excited for tomorrow's live, Shinna. I'd like to break down this postmortem on how the system can better help our children in the future. That's awesome. I'll be there.
All righty. Is there something you want to say, sweetie, before I end? McKinley?
McKenna? She must be gone there.
Okay.
My last word is justice for Summer. God bless Summer. God bless the boys. I hope that their worlds turn out a little bit brighter and brighter on the other side of this. And God bless Shinna.
Thank you. And thank you for hitting the panel. And I expect for someone to join me tomorrow. But you guys, this was a great discussion. She said, I am not up there anymore. Okay, but your body is still up here. That's crazy. She says she's not up here. That Dudley guy said Don Wells will not allowed to be around the children, maybe. Yes. So this is what we're going to do. I got homework to do, you guys. This was a great live. They were called numerous people called CPS on Don and Candus. Well, bring that information to our live tomorrow and let's discuss it. Let's discuss the charges of why the boys got taken away. Because I remember doing that a couple months ago, but now that the McKenna and Integrity is on here, let's just dig a little bit. That's probably why they don't like Shinna, because I dig. I want to know. I want to know facts. So no justice, no peace. No Summer, no peace. Let me get your hearts up for Summer. Justice for the boys. We're just here dissecting this. We want to know the truth. I love anybody that's able to come on the panel and tell your opinion. This is about Summer, her brothers. This ain't about nobody else. And we're going to dig into these parents. Okay, you guys? I want to say thank you to everyone that came. If you haven't already, hit the like button. If you haven't already subscribed, justice for Summer. We will not stop. No, where is Summer? What about summer? Candus, tell the truth, come clean. We will not stop. I'm not going anywhere, you guys. My prayers are for you as well as y'all's prayers for me. I always tell you guys before I go, I see your hearts up. Thank you for your hearts. Thank you for your hearts for summer. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We'll do it again tomorrow. We're going to dig. So before I go, I tell everybody, love yourself unconditionally, no matter what nobody say. Love you and love your flaws. See you guys tomorrow. Peace.